stop raining. Now it's raining even harder.
I'm literally just loitering here hoping the rain stops. So sorry if you're like, can you do something please? It's really raining a lot. Been in really poor areas in the USA? Yeah. A lot of like small rural towns are also like pretty economically impoverished. And like the cost of living in a lot of like the small local towns that are well off of the interstates, stuff like that. So like you can work a near minimum wage kind of job and afford a place to stay, I guess. But like, yeah. There's some very poor places in the United States. Showered every Hitchman? I actually don't mind getting wet in the rain, but like the electronics, I don't have a great way of protecting the electronics with this amount of rain. Yeah, and a lot of those small towns that are now impoverished now are like, historically they were like a booming town because of the industry that town was built around. But when your entire economic livelihood of the town is one industry, that industry goes through booms and busts and sometimes disappears. A good example is like coal mining towns. In the coal mining kind of boom, these were very well-off communities. And then as coal becomes less and less of a thing, it's just, and also more mechanized. Like you just need less people mining coal for the coal that you do need to mine. So more money just stays within the company on like machinery and just costs of operating rather than like payroll. Anyway, those towns really suffered. And the Holly Russia tour got robbed, and the police reported it, and got arrested for 8 hours, not info via English. Got to keep her phone, embassy or anything, couldn't help because they didn't know what station she was at. Info did not say anything, in which they tried about 7 hours, apparently got aggressive. People trying to eventually threw her out, no help, no explanation. Yeah, I can see that. Like, the only time I talked to the police was when I had to get out of the Russian central train station. But I saw the corruption because when people picked me up at random towns along the way, they do like a random inspection, and there'd just be like a random police dude there with a little fluorescent baton, and he'd just like point his baton at random cars, and then that meant you'd have to go into secondary inspection, and then you'd pull over into the little space for it, and they'd come up, and every time we had that happen to us, they had to pay. And it wasn't like they found anything wrong, but it's like, you're bad luck today. And essentially they'd like put in the equivalent of like $5 or $10 into their paperwork and hand it to the police officer when they initially hand over their paperwork, and they'd take the paperwork, take the money out, hand it back, and then wave them along. But if you don't do that, apparently, essentially, they'll just find something wrong and give you a ticket that costs a lot more than that and take up more of your time, blah, 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 blah. So if you get pulled into secondary, you just like give them some money, and then it's much easier for everyone and it costs you less money. We're going to last for at least 1 hour. I think it's good hitchhiking whether driving than seeing a guy in rain. In my experience hitchhiking for 10 years, rain does not improve the hitchhiking statistics at all.